I'm here to talk about Sparks, and this is really exciting because this is, I believe, our first public presentation. Joel introduced a little bit about Sparks earlier today, as did Sarah. But as a reminder, it stands for the South Pole Aitken Basin Sample Return and Exploration Sparks Science Definition Team. Next slide, please. So for a little bit of background, this mission and this science definition team, well, it's not a mission yet. This science definition team originates from the most recent decadal survey, which recommended a South Pole Aitken Basin sample return mission as the highest priority mission for LDAP. And this is a little bit different. It was recommended outside of sort of the standard mission architecture that we're familiar with, the Discovery New Frontiers flagship. It was recommended as a directed mission for the Lunar Discovery and Exploration Program. However, that program decides to implement it. Within the decadal survey, there were two different mission architectures that were studied, Endurance A and Endurance R, also now just called Endurance without the hyphenation. But these mission concepts were developed by the decadal team to demonstrate the viability of a long-distance rover architecture for accomplishing South Pole Aitken Basin sample return in situ science. They borrowed heavily from the pre-decadal mission concept study Intrepid, which was to the near side. And what they really demonstrated is that with clever science planning and with leveraging of the new commercial capabilities that are continuing to come online in the next decade, you could really achieve high-level science at a medium-class mission cost. And so this is the ethos that really motivates Endurance and motivated the origination of the Sparks study. Next slide, please. So the purpose of Sparks and the purpose of the science definition team is to really have the community take a deep look at what can be done with the South Pole Aitken Basin sample return mission. And there are really two different components of this. So the first is to provide prioritized science objectives and requirements to accomplish the highest priority science at the South Pole Aitken Basin. The other component of this is to examine different implementation approaches for this mission and how it could be accomplished. So I mentioned before, Endurance is really sort of one-point design way to accomplish this mission. And one of the charges of Sparks, and really our biggest one, is to look at a number of different implementation approaches. And I've shown here in all of these different bullet points a number of different deliverables as specified in the tour. There are 12 deliverables for the science definition team, but the ones that are really the most important to call out here are the development of a hierarchy of science objectives. So there will be prioritized science goals with prioritized matrix and prioritized objectives within those science goals. There'll be a determination of example locations where the science goals can be met, definitions of numbers and types of samples, including baseline and threshold sample mass requirements. We have a specific charge to assess the role of astronauts and various CLIPS providers for completing the prioritized science goals. As mentioned before, Endurance A, the astronaut-focused architecture, really leveraged the possible developments of an Artemis base camp and having the astronauts there to accomplish science. That is carrying through with Sparks. We are also examining the role of astronauts and also examining the continuing growth of CLIPS providers and CLIPS capabilities and how those could possibly impact a mission of this scale, and present a range of implementation approaches, and then ultimately select that down to one baseline and one threshold architecture, although all of the material will be presented, because the other fun aspect of the Sparks Science Definition team is that this is a non-consensus analysis document. So all of our work will be available for the community and for NASA to look at for whatever implementation might come forward from this. Next slide, please. So this is the Sparks team. This is a photograph taken from our most recent team meeting, and we have all of the US-based team members available in this shot, which is really great to get everyone in one place to hash out the Spark science. I also just want to call out that we have representation from a number of international partners as well, including JAXA, CSA, and ESA, and then JPL is providing support as an engineering design center to the team. Next slide. And this is just a quick update of where we are. So we're approximately third way through the duration or the nominal duration for the team. We were stood up with our first meeting in January, and we've just completed our third in-person team meeting. and we have a number left throughout the rest of the year. We've defined our science goals, objectives, and measurements, and we are now in the phase of implementing several implementation studies to examine how those science goals can be accomplished. And we are on track for our draft to NASA just before Christmas of this year, and we're hoping to release to the community by April of next year. That should be 2026. Thank you.